Welcome to the Rich Flow of Life podcast. Join Valerie Kanay, the award-winning authority author, as she takes you on a journey for your personal evolution. Valerie Kanay talks to enlightened featured guests who hold the keys to unlock your unique life situation. They each bring to the table their very powerful personal spin to inspire and empower you to learn to step up your game into the rich flow of life.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Valerie Kanay, and today our featured guest is Sonia Dolar, who I'm so proud, pleased, and honored to have joining us. Sonia is such a special person. Oh my God, this woman is incredible because her passion is helping people solve problems. Oh my goodness, can the world not use enough of them, people that love to help other people solve problems? She is a highly seasoned professional financial advisor, and she even specifies in microfinance. For Sonia tells me that financial literacy is the key in order to have a progressive and prosperous life, because there's such a big problem with financial jargon, and people can easily misunderstand the words that we know as financial terms that describes financial literacy. So thank God we've got Sonia Dolar on board to give us the clarity for those predictable results that we can all want to know and expect when it comes to dealing with our money. All right now. So now on the other side of things, let's go on the lighter side a little bit now. Sonia is married. She's the mother of 2 children. And get this now, she's an active volunteer at the schools, and she's been playing the piano since the tender age of 6 years old. Now, what I love about Sonia is that she's into this money thing now, because where most girls was probably looking at soap operas or hanging out with the boys or whatnot, whatever carrying on, she was studying the stock markets from a young age, learning trends, how to follow trade, all that kind of stuff. She's been doing this stuff a long time now, so she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, I got started early.
Hang on there, Sonia. So now, as a matter of fact, she's here, and you can see she can't wait to get started. But the last thing I'm going to say on her introduction is that Sonia is the author. She's writing her book right now, and it's going to be called, the upcoming book is going to be called Living and Giving and Prosperity, and it's going to be all about the 10 financial strategies for your ideal life. So now, Sonia, you come in there with me. Welcome to our program.
Thank you so much, Valerie. It's such a pleasure to be with you. And it was amazing to meet you through our mutual friend, Tony Roma.
Tony Roma, yeah, he told me, Sonia, something. Who is this Sonia? Tony keep telling me, you gotta talk to her. I said, okay, so we had the lunch, and here we go, honey.
And we'll send greetings to Tony in Paris. I think they're still in Paris right now.
They're still in Paris, and they're sharing the pictures on Facebook, and they're having an incredible time. So let's just jump right in there, Sonia, because when I met you, you were headed to India to talk to about 1,400 women. What was that all about?
So that's actually financial empowerment for women. And the whole idea, this was a women's economic forum. And it's started by a couple of professors in the University of Delhi. And the idea is to bring together women from all different backgrounds, all different professions, all different income levels, basically entrepreneurial, in order to be the harbingers of change. So really, this is kind of the forefront of really what globalization is all about. It's really about sharing worldviews, about exchanging really a sensibility about each other's culture, about each other's ideas, advances in all areas of culture, of trade. For example, medical discoveries, there was topics about food production, but primarily the one thing that everybody has in common is that whole entrepreneurial spirit. And we all know that globalization is part of our world. We know somebody that's been downsized. And the whole idea, what you had actually mentioned a couple of minutes before, is the second occupation, maybe the third occupation. So it's not necessarily what you may have started out doing. but some of the hobbies that you may have picked up along the way and something that you've been very good at, that somebody had recognized that your ability to help may be a second or a third profession. You really don't know. So basically, the whole idea and premise of this organization is kind of like a global movement to kind of bring about social change, economic prosperity for women. The idea of entrepreneurialism is something that is fostered from an earlier age. Just the sensibility of starting one job and retiring entirely completely retiring, I think is something of the past. So the whole concept of entrepreneurialism, I think, has to be taught.
It has to be taught. I'm going to agree with you there, Sonia, because like we talk behind the scenes and everything, oftentimes you will have a working career in one part of your life. Then the age where people consider retirement age is the age where you really blossom out to do the things that we call entrepreneur spirit and what you really have groomed yourself to be in your mind. And now you start to act it out, you know? So I guess that's what you're talking in that area where you're not going to retire. You're just going to reinvent yourself, so to speak.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And many kids, I think it's a great idea to start with, part-time job while they're in high school. Like, for example, Warren Buffett at the age of 14 had purchased a small farm in his hometown of Nebraska. And the profits actually were generated from his paper route. So it's amazing what kids can actually do. My son actually is assisting with the school board and with the school for an internship program and loading the computer software for next year, not at his school, but at other various schools. And so I think I played piano actually in the Holiday Inn when I was in high school. There's, all kinds of entrepreneurial clubs that are evolving and technologies that are evolving. There's one young lady out of Windsor that has developed wearable technology. So there's so many different kinds of products that are generating. And as a result, people need different kinds of financial services in order to go together with the entrepreneurialism.
Absolutely.
And having a reserve is probably the most important thing for economic safety, and this will give you all the ability to take advantage of opportunities and also to look at protecting yourself, because if you're able to carry through, if you're a property owner, you need to have reserve for roof, for other expenses, and just for uneven flows of income, which is different from the typical kind of, regular monthly income. And example, in India, there is no such thing as credit. So we have, globally, we have completely different perspectives on credit. Whereas, in North America, we're heavily dependent on credit, some more than others. In India, it's mainly a cash society, and gold, hard assets being part of that. So if there's a different dependency, so there is constantly, I find that education is one thing that is so much more in the purchasing viewpoint of the Indian consumer versus here. You see boutiques for learning absolutely everywhere in Delhi. It is like online learning, boutiques for learning. And of course we have Raymond and Mir coaching, and these things are actually, the more global that we're going to become, the more of a necessity, because we're not competing just in the North American market. We're competing online. We're competing with the rest of the world, but we're also gathering together and helping each other in different groups. For example, you're in New York, but you're like our ambassador, and we absolutely just love seeing you in Toronto. And you know as many people as I do in Toronto, and have, a huge impact here. And, I really think that these groups that are starting, whether they're online, but the education is so crucial, because as I mentioned again with the downsizing, there is not somebody that will not be affected by outsourcing, whether different products or especially in the banking sector, in the telecom sector, it's basically a 24-hour timeline. Workflows go back and forth between Canada and India, Canada, Panama, and all these jurisdictions. So it's the timelines, everything is kind of like, the time clock is really sped up.
Wow. I can agree with that. And
it's just, so there's more market opportunities across the globe, I think, for everybody.
I got you. So this is what the Women in Financial Fitness Economic Forum was all about. It's just getting everybody prepared for what's coming down the pipelines. And I guess not coming down, it's already here from what you're explaining. And so globalization is key so that everybody knows that what's happening in one culture might not be necessarily what's happening in another, but you have to bridge the gap by sharing the best of each one of them. Is that correct?
Absolutely. There is such an amazing group from all areas, from Panama, from Colombia, of course, from all the European nations, from the Arab Emirates. The Princess of Kuwait was there, and she has her own group of ladies that are doing business incubation, marketing plans, and these are turning out to be very, very successful businesses. So the idea, the whole mentorship process is really quite amazing.
That is amazing. So Sonia, let's dive into a little bit deeper into the conversation now. So that now that women are on board and they know they have to be part of this whole globalization, it's no longer sit back, no longer stay put in position how you've been. You've now got to stand up on 2 feet real strong and manage this whole financial part of life. So I know that you know a whole lots about the balance sheets, and you've helped people to increase them consistently. How do you go about doing these kind of things? Once you know that you're active in this global financial world that we live in, how do you increase the balance sheets of these businesses now?
Well, I guess the idea is to go through basically a discovery process to, number one, determine the individual or business client's goals and objectives, and really find out what their purpose is. What are the priorities really in the planning? Because if you don't really get to the core of the priorities, for example, they may have children that they need to take care of down the road with certain conditions. They may be also looking after aging parents. They may have other issues. So you really need to have a basic understanding of what their priorities are, what the demands are. And as well, through that, if there are disability issues, evaluate the risk tolerance. And each individual has a really different risk perspective. So there's no right or wrong answer. It's what is closer, in developing a plan for the person. In taking it, into consideration like liquidity, time horizon, tax considerations, which are, obviously vary from person to person, whether it's a business, an individual, or a corporation, or if it's a salaried income, that may be even more of a concern. The legal and regulatory issues as well, and any as well unique circumstances. So looking over the whole picture to find out, what it is that they need and how to go about to gradually, year after year, build up their balance sheet, build up their assets. And it's kind of like a coaching and mentoring along the way. And that requires a lot of, kind of keeping in touch with people when it works for them, whether it's over Skype, whether it's a telephone call. And, at times, if there is not a plan made, it's so easy to deviate from what you need to do. So if these things are not written, then there's nothing to compare it to. That's the whole premise of having a financial advisor, is that you have something to go back and compare.
Keeping records.
2006, and how am I doing, and how am I growing? Am I achieving my goals? Am I going to get there? And so, a lot of these things are managing expectations as well, and creating income. You and I, we're women. We're going to live longer. We're physiologically different than men, and we'll live probably an extra 8 years. So we need to make sure that we're not only saving enough, but that we're going to have income created continuously, over a lifetime. And whether or not we have a pension to go with that, but the expectation of retiring at 65, well, maybe not. Who knows? And the economic landscape, again, with globalization, is that we are so close to the other side of the world. The markets are ongoing, and what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas.
You changing that, huh? I like that.
Well, you may or you may not like it, because increased volatility does require more expertise, more financial expertise. And I participated actually in the due diligence for Fidelity Investments in Boston, which was quite amazing. And they have such an amazing investment process. So I was very happy to be part of that. And the due diligence of the managers, I mean, some of the managers actually see and have to keep in touch with 400 or 500 companies a year. So they are really, really, there's no way that an individual has that capability or the ability to make changes and trades that quickly. So, that's why you need a team, a global team.
A global team and someone to keep track and keep you on course with the record keeping and just being sure that everything is intact, because that's the only way to increase the balance sheets consistently over and over a period of time. But now, Tony, as we winding down on our time, I do want you to cover and go into the women and property rights, because it's so key that we shed some light on that.
Okay. First of all, would like to mention Oprah. I think that I really, really admire her because she is not just one of the wealthiest women. Most women have inherited their businesses from their husbands or from their father. She is and I'm mentioning her specifically. There are many, many, many successful women businesses, but she has overcome all the barriers, every single one of them. And if we follow her as a model, I think that, we can really move forward. And I'd just like to quote her: "Lots of people want to ride with you in a limo, but what you want is someone who will take the bus with you when the limo breaks down." That's
I love it.
That's Oprah.
All right. That's my girl.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. I love it. Thanks for sharing it too. I've never actually heard that one before.
She's really amazing. She has so many amazing quotes. Also, the financial literacy. The idea of misunderstood words and really understanding what is GDP, what is production, what is an RSP, what is a pension. How do these things work? How does our tax system work? There is one of the speakers in my group. This was one of our topics because she said that for her, this is one of the big misconceptions on how to really understand and be involved with your personal financial assets. There's just all these words that really are not even understood through the industry. And so if there's no clarity, no starting point, you can't really predict the results if you don't understand the definition.
Absolutely. You really can. And Sonia, you're so fundamental and key into breaking it all down. And I know you're like the angel of financial literacy on our planet. And there's no finer person in this world that can bring it all together like Sonia Dolar can. So with that being said, our program has come to the end. But I want to give you the opportunity, Sonia, to go ahead and tell us how we can hook into you and work with you, whether by Skype, by phone, or however you do your thing. Give it all out to us right now so we can hook into you, okay?
Absolutely. So I'm in Toronto. I can be reached by Skype. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and my email address is sdollar@simpatico.ca. I am also involved with microfinance with 2 or 3 various groups, and also with the foundation. My daughter is actually in Colombia, and she's actually just returning, and she's going to be also helping out with presentations. And that is the idea behind that is microfinance is to teach entrepreneurialism to other women And she will be doing that actually starting this month. And the Rotary
Ooh,
Club.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That is so cool. All right, Sonia, and if they wanted to call you, is there a phone number to reach you?
Absolutely. 416-696-5118. And I'm with Fundex Investments in Toronto.
Wonderful. Well, Sonia, it's been such an amazing time talking with you, being with you. Like I say, when I first met you, we're headed to India. So now you're back and we finally got a chance to connect. And I'm so grateful for Tony Roma once again for bringing us together because it's just been incredible. It really has been. So I want to say that I really love you dearly and thank you so much.
Valerie, love you too. Can't wait to see you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Rich Flow of Life podcast with host Valerie Kanay. We're most appreciative you took the time to be with us. And thank you. For more action, go subscribe to Valerie Kanay Talks YouTube channel and like us on Facebook at Valerie Kanay Talks and follow us on Twitter at Valerie Kanay. Until next time, we love ya.